When her message popped up, dead serious. "You're actually upset I forgot our dinner." I let out a short laugh. Not the kind that bubbles up from joy, but the hollow one that escapes when you notice how little you feel anymore. It wasn't the first time she'd bylaid. In fact, it was the third straight miss. The first, she blamed a work call that dragged on. The second, she swore her best friend was falling apart. This time, she straight up admitted she spaced it. We'd been a couple for 18 months. In the beginning, she was all in electric, planning little getaways, firing off random, thinking of you notes, even popping by my workplace with takeout just to see my face. Lately, though, I'd slid into the background app of her life, only pulled forward when every other notification went quiet. I typed back, "No heat, just facts," a gentle nudge wrapped in steady words. She fired an eye-roll emoji and, "Don't be extra, babe, I'll fix it." She didn't. That evening I sat alone at the cozy Italian spot we once called ours. The waiter knew my face too well. "She stuck in traffic again?" he asked, voice soft. I forced half a grin. "Something like that." I drove home, let the silence of my place swallow me, and started flipping through old pictures. Almost every shot, I was the one behind the lens, booking the flights, grabbing the tickets, starting every plan. Each memory felt like a one-man show that had quietly closed without an applause. That night it hit me. She didn't lose track of me because life was hectic. She lost track because I never gave her a reason to stay locked in. So I decided to hand her a reason. Over the next few days, I opened our shared calendar, the one she still had access to, and packed it solid. Work trips, gym blocks, dinners marked plus guest, weekend workshops, and one lone entry titled Last Scheduled Memory. No spite, just clarity. I wanted her to see in neat little color-coded boxes exactly how tiny the corner she'd left for us had become. A week later, my phone rang. Her voice carried that familiar mix of annoyance and bewilderment. "What's with the calendar takeover? You're booked solid for weeks." I kept my tone level. "Yeah." Decided I'm done pausing my life for plans that evaporate. Dead air. I could almost hear her pride hiss as it leaked out. "I told you I'd make it up," she finally snapped. "This is childish." I smiled into the phone she couldn't see. "Maybe. Or maybe I'm just showing you how simple it is to forget someone who quit running after you." She hung up. But I knew she wouldn't forget so easily this time. She hadn't scrolled far enough yet. 2 days later, the screen lit again, her name glowing. I let it ring twice before answering. "Okay," she launched the second I picked up. "What the hell is last scheduled memory supposed to mean? Some passive-aggressive riddle? That sharp edge I knew too well, trying to sound breezy while panic leaked through the cracks. "Not a riddle," I said even. "Just honest." Long pause. "You're blowing one missed dinner way out of proportion." I exhaled slow. "It's not one dinner, it's the pattern, and honestly, I'm exhausted being the only one who still marks what we're supposed to be." She huffed. "People space things out sometimes." "Sure," I answered, "but not every single time the person is you." More silence. She was catching on that my calm wasn't bottled rage, it was distance. And distance rattled her worse than any shouting match ever had. "So what?" she muttered. "You're dumping me via Google Calendar?" I almost chuckled. "That would be too easy for you." "I'm giving you one firm date, one shot to feel what it's like when someone actually shows up." Her voice dropped. "What does that even mean?" "You'll see," I said. "Saturday, 7 sharp. Same cafe where we crashed into each other 2 years ago." She didn't answer right away. I could practically hear the gears grinding, trying to decide if this was a bluff or a landmine. "Fine," she sighed at last. "I'll be there." "Happy now?" "Not yet," I said quietly. "But maybe I will be." Saturday arrived quicker than I thought. I got to the cafe early, claimed the exact same corner table, ordered her usual lavender latte, and waited. She rolled in 10 minutes late, better than the usual 20, dressed like she'd tried for effortlessly cute and still spent 40 minutes on it. Nervous smile in place. "All right, I'm here." "Now what?" I pushed a little navy box across the table. Inside lay the silver watch she'd lingered over in a store window months back but waved off with. "I don't need to watch the clock, I just want to live." Her smile flickered. "You bought me a watch." "Yeah," I said, leaning back. "So maybe next time you'll notice the minutes you keep letting slip." She stared at it, thumb brushing the face. I finished my espresso. "You kept saying you lose track of what matters." "Thought I'd help you keep better time." Her face cycled, confusion, guilt, irritation. "You didn't have to turn it into a whole production." I stood, dropped my card on the saucer. "No, but I did." Because now every glance at your wrist will remind you of this evening, the one where I stopped counting on you." She looked up, mouth half open, searching for words. By then I was already at the door, cool night air hitting my face like freedom. A few days of radio silence. I figured the message landed, until one morning my phone exploded with paragraphs. I didn't answer, not from pettiness, but because every explanation had already been used up. I'd spent months spelling out that love needs showing up, not just saying sorry. My silence was finally for me. By Thursday, she was at my door, holding a paper cup from the roastery we used to hit every Sunday. "Thought you'd want your usual," she said, eyes flicking over my face for any crack. I stepped aside wordlessly. She walked in, set the coffee down, turned. "You really meant that was the last date, huh?" "Dead serious." She chewed her lip. "You caught me off guard, that's all. I never thought you'd actually walk." I crossed my arms, leaned on the counter. "You never thought I'd stop waiting." Her shoulders dropped. "I screwed up all right, but you know I love you." "We can't just torch everything we had." I almost laughed. "You torched it every time you promised to show and didn't." She flinched like I'd slapped her. "I was juggling work, friends, life." "Yeah," I cut in. "And I was always the juggle that hit the floor." She glanced around. New prints on the walls, me mid-laugh on a mountain ridge with people who actually kept plans. She pointed. "When did you start all this?" "Right after I stopped hitting pause for you." Her gaze dropped. "You're different." "I am." No bragging, just fact. The tightness that used to live under my ribs when her name stayed gray-ticked was gone. Replaced by climbing gyms, friends who texted back, mornings that belonged to me. She stepped closer. "Can we try again?" I really looked at her, perfectly lined eyes, practiced calm, still hoping she held the remote to my feelings. She didn't. "You'll find someone who matches your rhythm," I said. "I already found mine." Tears welled. "So that's really it?" "That's really it." She turned, paused at the threshold. "I never thought you'd be the one to quit us." "I didn't quit us," I said softly. "I quit being invisible." The door clicked. It didn't sound like heartbreak. It sounded like the last page turning. The next weeks were strangely light. No 2 a.m. fights, no sorry paragraphs, no staring at a dark screen. I hadn't realized how much rent she'd been charging my brain until the place was empty. And mine. Then the coincidences began. She'd be at my regular coffee shop, insisting she just craved their cold brew. Once she claimed the table beside mine and ordered our old breakfast combo like it was casual déjà vu. Another night she materialized at the sports bar where my buddies and I watched basketball. "Small world," she chirped, smile tight. At first I gave her the benefit of doubt. Then mutual friends started texting. She'd been asking if I was dating, saying I seemed glowed up, almost too happy. They laughed that she suddenly cared about my orbit more than when she was in it. One night I found a small package propped against my door. Inside, a framed shot of us from last summer, salty hair, sunburned noses, fingers laced on the shore. No note, just a Polaroid that used to twist my gut. Now it felt like a postcard from someone else's vacation. A couple days later, "I miss you, for real, can we talk?" I didn't rush to answer. Instead, I grabbed beers with Maya, someone who actually arrived when she said she would. We'd been circling closer, easy, unforced. She was simply there. Next morning, I posted a candid of us laughing over pastries. Nothing staged, just real. Within minutes, my ex viewed it, typing bubble dancing. "So that's your big move-on announcement?" I locked the screen. She wasn't owed a play-by-play. That evening, she was camped outside my building, arms folded, face brittle. "You could have given me a heads up," I sighed. "You asked for space, I gave you the whole universe." Her voice cracked. "I didn't think you'd fill it with someone else." "That's the difference," I said, calm. "You wanted room to decide if I was enough. I used the room to figure out I always was." She had nothing. Just a shaky nod, then turned and walked off. As her silhouette shrank under the streetlights, something settled in me, simple and huge. Sometimes closure isn't a screaming match or a tear-soaked hug. It's the quiet that finally stays quiet. 2 months later, I barely recognized my own days. Gym at 6 a.m. became non-negotiable prayer. Evenings weren't spent refreshing chats. I built rituals that answered only to me. And in that wide-open space, joy slipped in like it had been waiting for an empty chair. Maya and I kept growing, not rebound rush, but steady yes. Shared meals, 1 a.m. walks, talks that ended in laughter instead of landmines. She asked where I wanted to go, not why I wasn't over yesterday. Then one random Friday, an unknown number buzzed. "Heard you're with someone now, can we talk?" I left it on read. 10 minutes later, I messed up bad. Please just meet me. Curiosity won, not nostalgia. People don't flip scripts overnight, but sometimes you grant a final chapter just to close the book clean. We met at our old corner cafe. She looked worn, eyes puffy, smile shaky. You look good, she offered. Thanks, you too. Awkward beat, then words tumbled out of her like an overdue confession. I thought space would fix me, but it broke everything else. I get it now, you were the one carrying us. I took it for granted. I listened, let the silence do its job. I miss us, she whispered. I miss you. I leaned back. You don't miss me. You miss the guy who stayed on hold. Her face crumpled. That's not fair. It's true, I said gently. You needed a timeout to see if I was worth keeping. That timeout showed me I was worth more than being an option. Tears spilled. So you're really done? I gave a small smile, no venom, no victory lap. Done. She wiped her cheeks, stood, managed a broken bye. The bell above the door chimed as she left. I sat another minute, paid the tab, walked out into sunlight that felt brand new. That night Maya and I met for tacos and stupid jokes. She never asked who I'd seen. She didn't need the recap. She just grinned when I stole her last bite, and everything felt weightless. When I got home, I finally deleted the hidden album, every last ghost photo of my ex. Not angry, just grateful. Losing someone who couldn't see your value is sometimes the only door that opens to someone who never doubted it. 6 months later, I stood on my balcony, city lights blinking awake below, coffee steaming in my hand. The view looked sharper, colors deeper, like someone wiped the smudges off my life. I wasn't the guy who refreshed a silent phone anymore, heart in throat every 5 minutes, wondering if love was supposed to feel like maybe. Maya padded out, drowning in my old college hoodie, hair wild from sleep. You're up early again, she mumbled. Couldn't sleep, I said, smiling. Thinking about her? She asked, soft. I shook my head. Thinking about me? Truth. My mind wasn't leased to the past. It was fully occupied by the present I'd built on solid ground. Funny how fate loops. Days later, a mutual friend passed along word. Her whole Miami squad had ghosted. Her break had backfired spectacularly. Job gone, apartment gone, ego in pieces. She wanted to catch up, see if the door was still cracked. I didn't answer. That version of me, the one who accepted crumbs and called it a meal, had been permanently deleted. One night while Maya chopped cilantro and I stirred sauce, a notification pinged. My ex had tagged me in a throwback, us mid-laugh on some rooftop caption. You never know what you had till it's gone. I showed Maya. She snorted. Still doesn't get it. Nope, I said, flipping the phone over. And that's fine. Some textbooks aren't mine to write in anymore. Later, I posted my own picture. Nothing loud, just Maya and me at the trailhead, faces sun-kissed caption. Pieces choosing the path that doesn't circle back. Friends blew up the comments with heart emojis, and finally, no drama, just recognition of a man who stopped auditioning for his own life. Curled on the couch, credits rolling, Maya's head on my shoulder, she murmured, You're different now. Yeah, you don't flinch when someone says, I love you. You just believe it. She was right. I stopped chasing, proving, repairing. I just showed up whole, and somehow that was plenty. Heartbreak used to feel like the final chapter. Holding Maya's hand in the dark, I saw it was only the red pen I needed before the story really started. The sweetest revenge isn't watching them regret. It's living so brightly they wouldn't recognize the shadow they once kept in their pocket. If you read all the way here, drop a like, subscribe, and tell me in the comments, when did you finally stop waiting?